In part 2, we saw how natural selection directed our model population towards a local peak in the fitness landscape where reproducers were being reproduced. We can now take a closer look at what happens up there. The flat plateau at the top of the pyramid represents an area of constant fitness. So, once again, the model population starts to explore due to random genetic drift. Mutants near the edge of the plateau will clone mutants with XY coordinates outside the top square, and those mutants will have a significantly lower fitness than those within the square. They will therefore experience an increased probability of being naturally selected for removal in the ongoing and relentless struggle for survival. It follows that natural selection now performs what biologists call a purifying role, and that is indeed a role reversal. Natural selection propelled the population to the top of the pyramid, thereby evolving a new strain that then enjoyed maximum fitness. But now, natural selection is preventing any further evolution by constraining the population to remain trapped at the top of the pyramid. Exploration further afield is no longer possible. If we take a break, leaving the fitness landscape unchanged, and come back later in 1 billion years or so, we see that, due to the enhanced fitness level, the population size has increased, but it remains constrained within the square boundary of the upper plateau. This is an example of what biologists call adaptation. The population has been adapted to the environment in which it reproduces. Model instances have been herded like sheep into a field with nowhere else to go. In that state, the population is effectively immortal, and there are many parallels in nature where simple single-celled organisms continue to thrive up a local peak in the fitness landscape that their ancestor populations climbed billions of years ago. So, has our model population exploited an evolutionary niche that has turned out to be a dead end from which there is no escape? If that was genuinely true, we wouldn't be here to tell the tale. It follows that at least one of our ancestral populations have, with the help of natural selection, found a way out via a pathway of progression to greater things. However, before getting into that, we need to clarify a very important issue. This also demonstrates how natural selection can add information to a gene pool, and this capability is often misunderstood. So, let's define our terms and clarify this issue with the help of some formal definitions. Consider an assembly of components. Useful examples from nature include tree rings, ice cores, geological strata, and the planets of the solar system. So what exactly is information? If the arrangement of the components of assembly A, for example tree rings, are in any way correlated with the arrangement of the components of assembly B, for example the position of the Earth around the Sun, then, at least in principle, we can determine something about the arrangement of A by examining the arrangement of B. In order to describe such scenarios more efficiently, we say that B contains information about A. Note that in this relationship, what we choose to call information is not in itself a physical entity, even though normal language usage has us talking as though it's some kind of material substance, and that, perhaps, is a major cause of confusion. This video was created on my computer, and you are viewing it on yours, but nothing physical has passed from my machine to your machine. The pixels on your screen have been arranged in the same way as mine. That arrangement has been passed along a chain consisting of many intermediate correlations that are established electronically, but nothing physical passes from end to end. Because of the now obvious correlation between the population's gene pool and the pyramid, we can now say that the gene pool contains information about the location and shape of the top of the pyramid, and that information was generated by the action of natural selection. Put another way, natural selection has added genetic information about how best to survive in the habitat where the population reproduces. Now let us suppose that there is a second source of fitness represented by the purple pyramid. But there's a snag. None of the individuals in the population have sufficient genetic equipment to make use of it. Moreover, our simple model of variation by SNP mutation is not capable of delivering sufficiently capable additions because, by definition, an SNP mutation can only change an existing element into an alternative, thereby depleting the previous capability. In Part 4, we will take note of what biologists know as Orgel's second rule. Evolution is cleverer than you are. We can build into our model a capability of lossless genetic extension that allows it to dine out on the purple pyramid as well as on the green one. Perhaps, sometimes, there is such a thing as a free lunch to be had, and natural selection is smart enough to be able to find out how to acquire the ability to partake of it.